Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, and no longer a content creator for Darktide, but that's okay. I am revisiting some of the builds that I made for this before the second season of TFD drops and also before Path of Exile 2 releases. Why? Because I really got my start on this game and a lot of people have been consulting my old builds from almost a year ago, and I figured I owe it to you guys to at least update some of them since I've met most of my awesomest community members through this game. Anyway, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to update for you my Tempestus Scion veteran build. This is built with Auric Damnation missions in mind. You could use it in anything lower, and of course you can also use it in tougher content such as Maelstrom. I cannot comment on Havocs and things like that because they will probably release long after this video drops, and I may not be there since I'll be doing content on other games. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this build for you as best I can. Please make adjustments as you need. I'm going to go through each bit step by step. And of course, if you want to, you can refer to the streams where I've played this build, or you can actually refer to the gameplay. I will include some of it at the end of this video. So this video is long. I will timestamp it for you. All right, let's get started. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get into this. So first things first about the Tempestus Scion build. What you got to understand is that we are building this with the Tempestus Scion in mind. There is no Hell gun here, so we're going to have to use the Recon Las gun. However, it is highly ammo efficient, and I have found it to be very good. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by going through the talents. I'll give you a summary of all the talents, and then I'll actually go through them step by step. So for the summary section, here we go. We start with the middle tree. All right, we go down the right-hand side, then we go to the left-hand side for the Shredder Frag Grenades. We go all the way down the left-hand side, taking Survivalists along the way. Okay, we go straight to the middle. Of course, Voice of Command is a must. And then after that, our main focus is the middle tree going into the Keystone node for Focus Target. We also take some of the left-hand tree because a lot of the stuff is very useful for the Recon Las gun. And this is the build in summary. Now let's actually go through it step by step so that you guys know why I'm taking these perks, why I'm taking these talents, what am I doing with them, and we'll go through all that. I'm going to remove my cam for this section. Let's talk about it in detail. Okay, now for the detailed explanation. Close Order Drill, first and foremost, is a good choice. Why? Toughness damage reduction with more allies and coherency is good, plus it unlocks Confirmed Kill. You replenish 10% of your toughness on elite or specialist enemy kill and a further 20% of your toughness over 10 seconds. This is absolutely excellent and still continues to be excellent. As far as I recall, the duration of Confirmed Kill is the only thing that refreshes each time. Let me test it out, okay? Just to be fully sure. Okay, no. So it does create a separate confirmed kill. Therefore, you know for a fact that if you kill two targets, you replenish 10% and 10%, and the 20% toughness that you replenish will, keep stacking up as long as you keep getting confirmed kills, which can actually give you a large amount of confirmed kill regeneration. You can actually see that from the buffs down the left-hand side of the screen whenever you use this, okay? So now you go for stamina boost so that you can unlock toughness boost, and then you want to go down the left-hand side. Now, I will say this much, a lot of folks prefer to go for crack grenades. I don't because I feel that it's much more efficient, and it also saves me an extra node if I go for Shredder Frag Grenades. And although some people might say, well, what are you going to do about those big crushers that come in? That's what your melee weapon is for, all right? Some people prefer to use the Power Sword. I'll go through my choice a little later. But the fact of the matter is that Shredder Frag Grenades tend to help me the most. I find them very useful when you're getting swarmed. You just shred the entire horde with bleed. It works very well on bulwarks, ragers, all sorts of things. Sure, you cannot take out crushers in this way, but hey, you've got other tools for them, all right? It even works on maulers because maulers tend to bleed, all right? Here's a little bit of evidence, okay? Let's toss that there. As you can see, the Mauler takes quite some bleed damage. Now, it's not a lot, but you toss 3 grenades, and they're going to bleed quite a bit. All right, usually what I tend to do with the Shredder Frag Grenades, I don't use 1. I tend to use 2 in a row straight away. I don't waste time. I stack up those bleeds and just get everything killed. All right, it's best if you throw all 3 at once, but just be sure about the situation. You don't have to be, you don't have to save it, but it is pretty good if you use that like that. All right, so that's why I go for the Shredder Frag Grenades. If you still prefer the crack grenades, you are going to have to sacrifice a point from somewhere else later, but the choice is yours, all right? Okay, then we continue to go down the left-hand side, all right? I don't like Catch a Breath, so I went for Get Back in the Fight. When restoring 50% of your stamina when toughness is broken and having stun and slow immunity is for 6 seconds, for 6 whole seconds, it's actually really, really good. This can actually help you out of a lot of dicey situations as long as you're not standing there like a target dummy. All right. Survivalist, despite the cooldown, which is a whopping 5 seconds, all right, is still actually useful. The problem is that you are going to end up killing a lot of enemies in quick succession. So you won't get the maximum value out of Survivalist like you used to get in the past. However, what I will say is that, well, even with a 5-second cooldown, which I really think they should nerf down to 2 seconds, okay, this is pretty okay. As long as you are a bit conservative with your ammo, this will help you overall. And it's also a big help to the other members of your squad. All right. I personally thought about choosing some of the others, and I know that some of the others are extremely viable. But ultimately, I came back to Survivalist time and time again because I just felt it was too useful to pass up, even with its 5-second cooldown. Okay. So after that reload boost, then you want to come across to the middle, toughness damage reduction, demolition stockpile. Now this is crucial because replenishing your grenades is extremely important to the veteran. If you do not replenish your grenades, then you are competing with grenades. You're competing with the Zealot and the Ogren for grenades. Not really a good situation. I prefer to have my own demolition stockpile, so I went with that. Either way, you're going to need a talent to carry on down the tree, so that was my choice. Voice of command. This is so useful for Auric Damnations. It will keep your team alive. It will help you. It will still help you get through bursters, sniper shots. I've tanked a sniper shot thanks to this. It's so good that I find this to be the best choice for me. Others may choose other talents. I mean, realistically, whatever you pick as your ability is your choice. But this is what has carried me and my team through most of the stuff, so I really enjoy Voice of Command. Make sure to also grab Duty and Honor because this is quite important. And only in death does Duty End can be useful, but you're going to have to sacrifice something for it, and I personally don't like it because of the increased cooldown. I'd rather have it up every 30 seconds, so I'm literally constantly shouting. I will use my shout not only just to buff myself, but just to shout a mutant, just make him stop, kill him straight away, or I'll just shout a dog away, or I just use it so aggressively. Even against bosses, you can stun a boss with this just for a moment, but it gives you plenty of time to mag dump into its head, which can be really useful with this particular build. That's how we shred bosses. It's pretty excellent, to be honest. Okay, coming down there, you want to go down the middle tree, all right? For the Emperor is a natural choice. However, a lot of people may also prefer Born Leader. I would say decide this based on your team composition and what your teammates need. If you tend to play with friends, or if you tend to play with randoms more than friends, you might want to choose Born Leader instead. But I prefer For the Emperor because it gives you and your allies in coherency 10% extra melee and range base damage for 5 seconds. But the fact that it is base damage means that it's multiplied by any other modifiers that they have, which realistically helps you deal a lot more damage. So I prefer For the Emperor. It can help your team out in dicey situations. Sure, it's only 5 seconds, but those 5 seconds can be crucial when you're spraying down a horde of enemies. So do think about that, okay? After that, Tactical Awareness. Combat ability cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds on a specialist enemy kill. This is extremely useful because it'll allow you to shout even more. Then you've got Iron Will, 50% reduced toughness damage if above 75% toughness. This pairs really well with Voice of Command, obviously. Toughness boost here. Rending Strikes, 10% rending to all weapons really helps out because you're going to shred armor a lot faster than you would naturally. Bring it down, of course, because if you're not taking this talent, you're going to perform so much worse against monstrosities, ogrins. You really want this because taking out those Reapers, Bulwarks fast is really helpful to your team. Then you get Focus Target. Now, a lot of folks prefer Marksman Focus as well. That's okay. I've tested both, and I personally prefer Focus Target. Why do I prefer Focus Target? Okay. When 5 stacks of Focus Target, you can inflict a total debuff, all right, of 20% additional damage when you focus a boss, a elite, whatever. You should be easily able to mark targets. I've bound my mark target to my scroll up, so basically something like that. And it just helps you shred your targets a lot faster. Okay? This is ideally what you want. At maximum stacks, all right, you'll have a much easier time shredding through Reapers and the like really, really quickly. All right. Overall, this helps you dish out a lot of damage and also helps your team dish out more damage. For example, Zealots with a Thunderhammer and the like, they can benefit strongly from your focus target, which is why I like it. Whereas Marksman Focus tends to benefit you specifically. So the choice is really yours, but focus target has been my ideal choice. All right. Of course, you want to have target down, where if an enemy that you have tagged dies, you replenish 5% toughness and 5% stamina for each stack of focus target applied to you and allies in when an enemy that you have tagged dies, you replenish 5% toughness, 5% stamina for each stack of focus target applied to you and allies in coherency. There's also another reason why I don't go for Born Leader. I feel that it's just overdone, overly defensive, whereas For the Emperor can help flip some situations. So target down is generally my personal preference. Okay, this is how you can help yourself and your allies around you replenish toughness and stamina, which is really excellent. Then you've got redirect fire as well. If an enemy you have tagged dies, you gain 1.5% damage for each stack of focus target applied to you and allies in coherency that lasts for 10 seconds. With 5 stacks, that means an additional 7.5% damage. This may not sound like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it can change, for example, 2 required hits to 1 in some situations. So I really like having redirect fire as well. Okay, I did not go for focused fire because 8 stacks, well, in the dicier combat situations, you're not going to get 8 stacks anyway. It takes a full 10 seconds to regenerate that, so it does take some time. And extending that to 16 seconds does not give me any additional bang for my buck. Although you do get to stack this up, redirect fire up to 8 stacks, which is really nice. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. I choose not to use this. Instead, I went for an additional stamina regeneration boost on the left-hand side in place of this. Okay, now, the left-hand side tree. Range damage boost, then you want to unlock Determined. Having suppression immunity is so important because you can get suppressed so easily when enemies are spamming gunfire at you, okay? So this is why I went for Determined. It works so well for whatever I do. Now, Deadshot is optional. You don't have to have this anymore. The fact of the matter is that when you're using a recon lasgun, your Deadshot is going to drain everything really fast, okay? So then you're going to have 0 stamina. Now, you can choose to have this if you want. At the end of the day, it is your choice whether or not to have this. Why do I still use it? I still use it so that I gain a burst of damage whenever I need to. However, if you don't want it, I have tested both ways. You can feel free to swap that out. You can have Competitive Urge, which can actually be pretty good, okay? Because especially in massive hordes, you're killing a lot. You can go for one motion, increasing your swap speed, which is really excellent with this because being able to pull out your recon lasgun and spray straight away is really excellent. You can take long shot, all right, if you want to have a bit more damage at range. The possibilities are endless, so you do not have to have Deadshot. I tested playing with it, without it. My efficiency was the same either way, all right? The only reason to ever use Deadshot, okay, is to gain slightly higher burst damage at the start of your salvo. What do I mean by this? Okay, so let's say I've tagged a target, I've used Voice of Command, I can basically gain a slightly higher burst damage until my stamina runs out. All right, but I will be kept at 0 stamina, which means I cannot block, I cannot do a lot of things. You have to weigh the concerns and the risks for yourself. The way that I choose to play the Veteran, I am not at risk with this, but other people may be. So if you don't like Deadshot, please remove it straight away. Pick any other option. You can take any other option that you want. You can get a critical hit chance boost in place of this if you want. The possibilities are endless. So please do not feel like you need this. It is unnecessary in this build. But you can still use it if you like those situations where, okay, I aim so I can burst this one target down, then I come off the aim and I regenerate stamina. Think of it that way. All right, but the choice is yours, okay? So I hope I've made that clear. All right, fully loaded is absolutely necessary because having increased ammo is so good. Your survivalists will restore more. You have more to play around with. The ammo pickups you have will restore more. All of this is useful. Superiority Complex helps you deal more damage to elite enemies, and there are so many elite enemies. You're going to need this. Shock Trooper is a bit iffy. I tried without it. I tried with it, And I have to be honest with you, I still prefer it. Because sometimes you get those guys that will just hog up all the ammo and take up all the ammo. Yeah, that's when Shock Trooper really comes in handy and makes this build a lot more ammo efficient than you might think. Now, there is a bit of an internal cooldown, so you won't always be able to consume no ammo with your critical hits. And it does pair really well with Deadshot, but again, you can absolutely remove these two and go with whatever else you want. You can get an extra 10% toughness damage reduction. You can go for Marksman, which is also really, really good because for 10 seconds, weak spot hits gain 20% strength. Do you know how fast you can burst down bosses with that? So yeah, it's really your choice on these two. I left them in my build, but you can absolutely swap them around if you want to, okay? And that basically covers everything. That's a detailed explanation of why we make these talent choices, why we use these talents in this build, all right? You can refer to the summary if you just want a quick scroll through. Now, let's talk about your loadout, all right? I've spoken to you about the talents. Now, let me talk about the loadout once again in detail, all right? First and foremost, let's take a look at the Shock Maul. The Shock Maul is my weapon of choice. I also have a power sword here, but why do I prefer the Shock Maul? Okay, the Shock Maul I find is very useful because the assassination targets in some missions are absolutely annoying, all right? I have seen many random teams struggle to even bring down his shield. They don't seem to understand how to do it fast. Surprisingly, the Shock Maul can. If you use the special melee attack on the Shock Maul, all right, the way that it hits causes several instances of damage, which actually take down his shield really, really fast. This is what I like about it. All right, it also electrifies them, causing damage over time, as you can see. So that is pretty cool overall, and I think that the Shock Maul is pretty useful. You can use it to shock and stun several enemies all at once, okay? So coming back to this, let me continue to give you more reasons why we use this. The Shock Maul has a nice pattern. Let's talk about pattern first. I personally prefer this pattern because it allows me a lot of flexibility. All right, as you can see, the pattern is Vanguard, strike down, strike down, strike down. And for the heavies, it is strike down, Vanguard. What you want to do is that when you're clearing hordes with this, you want to have the pattern of light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy. Okay, do you see that? Light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy. And you're going to be able to clear things really quickly. All right, that's what I like with the Shock Maul. If you have a stronger target to deal with, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light. You feel me on that? Okay? Heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, or you can even go heavy, light, light, light if you want to, something like that. All right, heavy, light, 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 heavy, light, light, light. Okay? So these are the patterns that I personally prefer with the Shock Maul, but in general, I tend to use the light, heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, because you've got to get rid of hordes even while dishing out damage to the elite targets and whatnot. Now, when it comes to the perks, you've got a few choices. I tend to use the weapon as mostly horde clear on the veteran. So I went for 10% melee damage versus the Groaners and Poxwalkers, which helped me out a lot because they will swarm you unnecessarily, and it's good to be able to clear them in 2 quick swings. The next thing that I did was I got extra damage versus flak armored enemies. You can change this if you like, but I found this to be the most useful. All right. For my perks, sorry, these are the perks for my blessings. Opportunist, okay, 25% rending versus staggered enemies is really useful because you can stagger them with a push. You can stagger them simply by shocking them. And high voltage deals 25% damage versus electrocuted enemies. Okay, how often do you electrocute an enemy? All right, let's find out. What does it take to electrocute an enemy? All right, as you can see, they're not electrocuted by light attacks. All right, heavy attacks. Although you can see some lightning animations, they don't actually electrocute them. So this is what electrocutes them. Stephanie, now's not the time. I'm busy explaining things. Hello? So you have to use the shock first, and then after that, you gain extra damage. All right? So do keep that in mind. Now, there is an alternative, okay? So if you find that you do not like high voltage, which gives you extra damage versus electrocuted enemies, okay, you can actually choose to completely change that around. Sorry, let me go to masteries. You can change that for, where is it? Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher is pretty good in place of that. It gives you 4 stacks of plus 10% damage if already staggered, and all you have to do is stagger the target. So this actually benefits your whole team. I do like Skull Crusher a lot, so you can also choose to use that. There are some other blessings you can choose, but you basically got freedom of choice. I experimented with high voltage. I found it useful, but that was for me personally. Okay, if you want to change that out to Skull Crusher, it's genuinely your choice. Play around with this last one, but make sure you have Opportunist, because no matter what, 25% rending versus staggered enemies is beautiful. Okay, and this is what I like on my Shock Maul. Now that you understand my melee weapon, let me talk to you about the ranged weapon. For the ranged weapon, you are going to use the Recon Last Gun. Okay, oh, sorry, I totally didn't go through stats. My bad. Let me quickly go through the stats. What is actually important for this? Okay, mobility and finesse, I tend to choose the higher of the two. Mobility, you just need to hit the dodge limit of 4. That is the most crucial thing, but of course, as high as you can go is good. Penetration is pretty important because you want to be able to have higher bonuses versus flak armored, carapace armored, all that. For crowd control, this is, I would say, relatively important, but anything above 65 is good. In fact, anything above 62% is good. Why? Because you're not going to be able to hit the highest marks here. As you can see, you don't ever hit the highest amount. So you already have a fair amount of stagger, even with like 68% crowd control. So you don't need to focus too hard on this. Rather, finesse is very important for the attack speed, and of course the multipliers on weak spot hits. And penetration, again, very important for your bonuses versus the heavier armored targets, which is pretty crucial if you want your Shock Maul to actually dish out enough damage. And of course, damage itself needs to be as high as possible, so this can then be multiplied by everything else. Okay? So this is basically what I do and what I use with the Shock Maul. Now, let me go into the ranged weapon properly, okay? When it comes to the ranged weapon, here's what you are going to do. For the ranged weapon, what I tend to prefer is to have increased range critical strike chance by 5%, that's the first perk, and then 25% damage to unyielding enemies. Unyielding refers to monstrosities, and of course, several of the Ogrins like the Reaper and the Bulwark. When you hit their skin, that is unyielding. So I tend to prefer extra damage versus them, so I can kill them faster. The rest of the elites and the specialists are really not a problem for this gun, so you will shred through them easy peasy, okay? If you want a quick demonstration of how you can shred through them, then let me just quickly show you. Turn around. And this is without buffing myself, so just keep that in mind. Okay, you will shred through these guys quite easily with no trouble. So you don't need to worry about any extra damage versus these guys, okay? So there you go. That is why I prefer the unyielding, so that I can deal with these guys, which you're going to need some help on, a lot faster, okay? Unyielding helps against these targets real quickly. Okay, something like that. But it won't help against carapace armor, obviously, okay? Although you can still, if you really, really want to spray down a crusher, I really wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so try not to waste your ammo spraying down a crusher. Now, coming back to the loadout again, please take note the model that I'm using is the Mark 12. Okay, this one is the high-capacity torrent variant of the gun. I personally prefer this. It is your choice whether or not you want to use this model, but this is my personal preference. Some people feel it may run through ammo quite quickly. I find that it's okay. All right, so this is what I use it for. Then for your blessings, Infernus and Headhunter are still pretty much standard for this. It's fairly easy to aim toward the head, and this gun, even hipfire, is pretty accurate. So I tend to use Headhunter for the extra crits, which then benefits Infernus on stacking fire on them, and basically that's what I do. You can just aim down sights to hit the head really easily, and this gun is very accurate at doing so. Just for a quick demonstration, once again, if it's the head you're aiming for, something like that, you can burn through them real quick. Okay? So don't hesitate. This gun, like I said, is fairly accurate, even at a distance. You should have no trouble hitting the head in bursts. So that's why I prefer Headhunter. But again, you can choose other perks if you want. But this is what has worked for me in Oryx, and I genuinely enjoy it. So yeah, that works well for me. Now for stats, damage, you want it as high as possible. Your ammo as high as possible. Mobility as high as possible. Stability as high as possible. Collateral is the only thing that you don't really need to care about. Anything above 60% is good. So generally you want all these 4 to be 80 and collateral 60-ish will be good enough for you because you don't need to worry too much about weapon stagger. This weapon does not stagger all that much to begin with. So yeah, just be aware of that. You aren't going to get much more value out of it than you're already getting at around 65-ish. So there you go. That's pretty much it for the stats. And that is it for the build in general. Now, if you guys want to be able to see how to use this build, I will highly suggest you check out the gameplay. If not, thank you very much for watching this video.
Searching for something. Did you know that? Grendel doesn't, I think.
Okay, I'm sure he's searching for love on whatever they use in Warhammer 40k. But thank you very much for watching this video. All right, I know it's a long one, but again, I have always done detailed videos so that I can explain things to you guys, why I make my choices, things like that. Do check out the gameplay. If not, you can check out some of the streams. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay? Thank you. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Right. Recon Lasgun veteran build. 2 Zellies and a Psyker. And 1 Zelly left.
Move on through the ventilation tunnels. Let's not waste time.
War needs weapons, and those weapons come from here.
Head for the control chamber and find the cryonic rods.
Not one step back!
All right, moving through. As you can see, what I do every single time is I mark targets and just absolutely start wasting them because that's what you're supposed to do with this. Highlight your targets and start blasting. When necessary, toss out grenades. Reloading. Got a med stim just in case. Heading to the zealots. Nice work. Waiting for the fire to go away. It's 2 heals.
neutralized.
Okay, there we go.
You can breathe. You can
Tossing. Tossing. Hazing. This is probably the incorrect way to use a shock maul, but I tell you, I love just prodding them with a shock.
No choice. We go down.
Everybody all good? Grand. That was fun. Small ammo.
Get in there! Make them scream!
Crap, if only I could get over to him. There we go.
What the hell? Where did the other guy go?
I don't know. I'm trying to get to this room here.
He's a little bit at the back, I see.
Driver killed!
Without examining the back, you can never know. Inefficient.
I'm just waiting for this to fade. I'm gonna take this Medicaid and heal my scratch. Let's go. Time to ruin their day. By the way, guys, let me know if there are any stream problems here. I don't think there are, but you let me know if anything goes wrong. Got an ammo crate too.
Let's get to the killing!
Enemy visceral.
This way!
Why are they waiting down there? I don't understand. I got.
Follow me! Avast! Hoaxbuster!
Is this a dead end?
No, we can just hop down.
Oh, okay.
But oh, I was going to actually hop over.
Yep. Gotcha.
I was gonna walk up to it and then shoot over, but then when I press space to jump, the game thought, oh, you actually want to hop over, huh? Even though I didn't press the forward and jump command to hop over, jeez.
Thanks, Kazzy. The
Nope,
only
nope.
reason I ask is because I'm actually recording the gameplay footage while streaming. Counter dog. So I just wanted to be sure. But thank you, Kazzy. Always appreciate you.
Get them dead! Brought here!
Not today. I hate that Tox Bomber the most.
Purpose does this switch, sir.
Killed! Ranger killed!
Behold, that unclean
These guys trying to clear the whole horde before
Fanatic seems to be hysterical.
moving through.
I have no idea.
Take that trapper down!
Got him. Heading down.
Something.
Canst thou fight on, Guardian?
Okay, Tox Bomber's down. Ammo for Mr. Ree. There it is. My guy marked ammo again. Hopefully he recognizes what ammo is. LOL.
Target and eliminate! Kill and do it again!
Okay, I see where it is.
The interrogator refuses to work. Recommence.
Not one step back! Eliminated!
Bomber's down.
Let's get to the killing!
we go.
The voices!
Red gunner down. How you doing today, underdog? Okay, everybody's good. Taking small ammo pack. Okay.
Data stream ceased. You are certain you installed the data interrogator correctly?
Get in there! Make them scream!
I do as the master bids me.
Shield raised! Come to me!
Slay the hound.
That's the cloning pod ready to go. Better get down there and put them to work.
All right.
My shots aren't astray, veteran.
Okay. Coming with you guys. Locked and loaded. Cross. Okay.
A true death creation!
Didn't mean to take that. Ah, that was a mistake. So, just for anybody's knowledge, the veteran must never take grenades because we regenerate our own. So you're actually gimping your team if you accidentally take a grenade. Try to avoid that. Is there a demon hose down there? That's not very cash money. So,
Just chilling.
oh. Okay, so that's what it's
I don't
doing.
know.
No, I know we didn't aggro it.
I want to say I think I know why some people like just shoot at certain races. It makes it obvious that, you know, hey look, there's a host right there.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It also makes it risky though.
Yep.
One stray bullet goes near it.
A little rocket jump there. Oh no. Covering you guys. You guys okay? All right. Woo. Woo.
Can this be fixed? It looks ruined.
Prevailing damage is cosmetic. Deeper systemic malices lie within reclamation parameters.
Directness and simplicity are
Look at this.
not
Look at the
your
zealots.
virtues.
Parchment floating. Lol. Lol. Alright, let's go.
Press back and well earned.
Button struck.
Dead! Roger up, Roger!
Got it. Okay, it's in.
Not one step back!
In the shadows.
Got him.
Kill! And do it again! Assault force! Hovering fire, lady!
Whoa. Sorry, fam. Had to escape.
Give them the old Cassidy double tap!
Oh, it's there. Okay.
You can raid! You can kill!
Okay, got it. Did it? Coming to you.
Killing never ends!
Oh, that's our flamethrower. Okay. Was I thought I was being flamed from behind.
Yeah, you will. Do not resist.
Lol. I can accept that.
Let's get you back here.
Okay, let's go. I did not come back. I'm just here until December 5th. Temporary. I was here to make some content and then off I go again. There we go. Nice. And okay. That was a solid victory.